Residents in Dr. Phillips stand in opposition to new apartments. Mayor Jerry Demings is proud of his accomplishments for Orange County. OCPS backs off superfluous fees for student devices. And in Winter Garden, there is a community on the brink of a renaissance. The date is June 9th, 2022. We're going to go through these stories and more. Welcome to West Orange on the Go. My name is Austin Arthur, and this is where we do local news and comment. And when I say local news, I mean hyper-local. West Orange, this is your news. We begin.
You're listening to West Orange on the Go. Brought to you by the West Orange Times and Observer. Hosted by Austin Arthur. West Orange on the Go.
Even though they have not yet filed for any applications for zoning changes, Kimco Realty Corporation already has drawn the ire of residents in Dr. Phillips. The development company recently released the details of a plan to bring more than 850 apartments to the Publix anchored marketplace at Dr. Phillips. The plan calls for demolishing the now closed Steinmart, as well as the Office Depot and Home Goods stores. In their place, Kimco would construct an 8-story building, as well as 2 5-story buildings and a parking garage. If the project earns approval, it would become the first 8-story building in Dr. Phillips and set new standards for future development. Now, one resident said, quote, "I'm not opposed to growth. I understand growth is a sign of progress, but I'm tired of non-managed growth because there should be some topics discussed before the growth even is approved," end quote. Some of these topics include how the project will impact the traffic patterns and the local schools. Now, currently, Dr. Phillips Elementary School and Southwest Middle School are already at capacity, if not overcrowded. There is currently a petition to stop the project with 4,409 signatures, all from local residents. Now, one such resident said, quote, "Our neighborhood is already too overcrowded. It takes 30 minutes from the exit at I-4 on Sand Lake Road to Apopka Violin Road. In the past, it took me 5 minutes." All right, so we will monitor this concern of our Dr. Phillips residents. In Orange County news, Mayor Jerry Demings will deliver the 2022 State of the County Address at the end of this week. His office states that the annual address will, quote, "highlight the outstanding accomplishments of Orange County government and its regional and local partners over the past year, as well as look into the future as the county reaches milestones to build a community that works for everyone," end quote. And you can hear about all the wonderful progress that the Orange County government has made tomorrow. And in other Orange County news, after Orange County Public School students and parents raised questions about fines they received related to damage to district-issue laptops, district officials now say they plan to revamp the digital devices reimbursement schedule for the upcoming school years. In an email sent out to OCPS officials, it said that they will initiate a process to wipe out all unpaid student fines and offenses from fiscal year 2022 and prior. Now, District 4 OCPS School Board member Pam Gold said she and other board members received recently an influx in parent questions about the devices after The Observer published a story about the concerns. Well, there you have it. All details in this week's paper. You see, that is your community paper in action. The story was interesting. They had all these parents with great concerns about all these crazy fees for, a little dent here or something or a little scratch there. They say normal wear and tear and just getting big fees. And it was just kind of wild. Just remember, the Orange Observer is here for you. So you go to orangeobserver.com, you subscribe, you find the big red boxes all around town, all throughout West Orange County. They're free. Get the old school newspaper, put it in your hand, sit on the lawn, do what you got to do, but participate in your hyper-local news. The West Orange Times and Observer is all you got in terms of West Orange exclusive hyper-local news. We're talking real news. Okay. The 6 members of the Haitian delegation participating in the 2022 Special Olympics, which is taking place at the ESPN Wide World of Sports, well, those 6 members are missing. The athletes were last seen on Monday, June 7th, after they turned in their room keys, but left behind all of their luggage and personal items. Now, according to a press release, deputies believe this is an isolated incident, and they do not suspect foul play. Currently, the sheriff's office is in active communication with Walt Disney World, Special Olympics, and their law enforcement and federal partners. Moving on to the next story. This one is about a young man in our community. It's no small feat to receive an acceptance letter to a United States Service Academy, and it's an even bigger accomplishment to be accepted into 3. Thomas Kelly, a Windermere resident and recent graduate of Olympia High School, learned in March he had a big decision to make: whether to attend the Naval Academy, the Air Force Academy, or West Point Military Academy. The first hoop to jump through is the nomination process. Now, to get appointed to a U.S. Service Academy, you have to be either nominated by your congressman or by your senator. Now, for him, that's U.S. Representative Val Demings. Obviously, for all of us in Florida here, it's Rick Scott or Marco Rubio. Those are the 3 choices. And, that's a big deal. But for him, he got interviewed by all 3. Okay, so this is quite the young man. But I just want to say congratulations to a young patriot here in West Orange. No doubt a future hero, Mr. Thomas Kelly. And let's go into the sports highlight. I'm just looking through here. One here, the Orange County Convention Center will host the 49th annual AAU Junior National Volleyball Championships, and that is scheduled to start on June 14th. Yes, volleyball. My wife loves volleyball. As a matter of fact, her whole family loves volleyball. I don't really know much about sports or many, very few recreational things in general. I mean, I own a gymnastics center with my brother Xander, but I just don't really follow the sports. But they love sports. We on weekends, on Sunday, we get together. We go in the gazebo in my backyard, and we put on some sports, and they love it. And they especially love volleyball. So I think we're looking at potentially trying to move closer to downtown Winter Garden. I told my wife that maybe, if we can, maybe we put a sand volleyball court out there, because when the time comes, I might do that. I think they would love it. Speaking of my family, let me tell you about Foundation Academy. That is where my daughter goes to school. Look, it's the best of the best. If you're looking for private education in West Orange County, they're associated with the First Baptist Church of Winter Garden. So it's a long history, it's a deep history, a record of excellence. And my child's experience there has been incredible. One thing I don't talk about too often, because for me, it's just about the character. But, she was struggling a little bit as she entered into this grade this year, as she entered into Foundation Academy. A little behind on, some of the reading and writing and this sort of stuff. But they just caught her right up with no problem. So not only is my first priority, which is character, taken care of at this school, but they also are just excellent in the academics. So I encourage you to check them out. The slogan is this: Foundation Academy, where character matters. All right, now we're going to go right into the final page here. And this is about East Winter Garden. Now, East Winter Garden is a small portion of Winter Garden. It's a sub-community, if you will, something, akin to a term like that maybe. And it is a historically black community, a historically minority community, historically an under-resourced community, right off Plant Street, east of the downtown area. It's not really too visible from Plant Street if you just zoom in through at the speed limit, of course, 35 miles per hour. And but just to know, I wanted to set that up. If you don't know East Winter Garden, it's our historically minority community, historically under-resourced community in Winter Garden. Residents have been clear in stating what they want for the east side of Winter Garden. Above all else, they desire affordable housing and safety. The city of Winter Garden hosted a series of charrettes and community meetings last week to refocus its efforts on the revitalization of East Winter Garden. The project concentrates on 10th and Center Streets, the intersection of 9th Street and Story Road, and the corner of 9th and Plant Streets. More than 110 residents, most of them living in the East Winter Garden community, gathered at City Hall Thursday, June 2nd, to share opinions on what they want their revitalized neighborhood to look like. At this big meeting, after a presentation was given, residents were invited to create maps of how they envisioned the future of the East Side. Now, Jason King, the vice president and senior project director of Dover Coal, that's the consulting company hired for this immense redevelopment project, he said that the ideas put forth from the residents, quote, become the plan, end quote. Dover Coal has been involved in the successful transformation of main streets in several black communities, including Thomasville, Georgia, Detroit, South Miami, and Montgomery, Alabama. Attendees to the meeting were polled on options for Center Street, such as wider sidewalks, landscaping, bike racks, benches, and streetlights. A majority were in favor of these amenities. Other suggestions for the East Winter Garden community were senior housing, a community center, outdoor game areas, green space, and a pavilion. Okay, so we're going to be seeing a huge change in the East Winter Garden area in the coming several years. A lot of money is going into this community. Now, that is from the CRA. Now, this is how the downtown Winter Garden area became revitalized through this very program. So that was the first wave, and this is the second wave to go down into this community to revitalize this community. So you see the success there that they had in downtown Winter Garden, and it's going to take a lot of effort. It's going to take a lot of community participation. If you're a taxpayer in Winter Garden, especially near the downtown area, I strongly suggest you check this out and get involved and care about it, because this is our community. We are one Winter Garden. I can't stress that enough. And I'd love for you to check out a group by that very name. It's a group I'm heavily involved with. It's called One Winter Garden, and it is primarily made up of residents that live in the East Winter Garden community. Now, they are working beautifully with the city to make sure that the people have a voice and have a say in what is happening to their community. This is a historic community. So that's the focus point. The focus point is to increase land ownership and to not gentrify the area, to keep those same families in there. There's a lot of work to be done, not just in terms of infrastructure, but also in terms of culture. We know that there is some violence that goes on in that area, and these are just bad actors. In some cases, just youth that has been strayed the wrong way. So these are all things that we got to get active on. I encourage you to check out onewintergarden.com. That is onewintergarden.com. Let's get active in this West Orange community for this great renaissance that's about to occur. This has been Austin Arthur with the West Orange Times and Observer. And until next week, have a happy and blessed weekend.
West Orange on the Go is brought to you by the West Orange Times and Observer. Hosted by Austin Arthur. West Orange on the Go.